Okay, so today we are going to learn about writing a lead that hooks readers. So you should already have your idea that you're going to be writing about for this personal narrative. You should have yesterday taken that big old watermelon idea and brought it all the way down to a small moment. So think about how we can hook our reader. How should you start off writing your paper? Well, if you started off badly, it's going to be so boring. And Miss Dowdy doesn't want to read a boring story, and you don't want to write a boring story. So, we're going to talk about some ways that we can hook our readers. Now, to hook our reader, that's usually the first sentence of every paragraph, and then you can even implement these throughout your story. The first thing would be a sound. How can you start your story? Well, by a sound. Maybe you want to say, bang, bang, bang. The hammer was banging against the wooden building. We're going to want to know, okay, well, why is there a hammer banging against a wooden building? Or drip, drip, drip went the faucet as I walked into my flooded house. Well, we're definitely going to want to know what happened there, right? That's a lot better than saying my house flooded. See what I mean? Pop, pop, pop went the fireworks. Crash, achoo, thump. So these are all some sound words, and it would be awesome if you wanted to incorporate some of these in your writing or to start your story. You can also start your story with a question. A question is a good way to hook your reader because they're going to want to know more. So, for example, have you ever wondered what a giraffe's tongue feels like? After my trip to the zoo, I will never have to wonder again. So that's a really good question to start out. You can even start out with an action. I ran to my room and slammed the door just as the tears came to my eyes. Well, we're going to know what in the world is going on. If they are crying, they're running around, they're slamming stuff. Oh my goodness gracious. That would be a really good way to start as well. So an action, you could run, you could crawl, you could jump. Dialogue. So as you can see, there's some quotation marks in here and there's a comma. So dialogue is when a character or someone in the story is actually saying something. So you could start off with dialogue. For example, stay close to your chaperone, Mrs. Anderson called after us. You could also start it out like that. So I'm going to read you an example of someone that incorporated some sound words into their story and see how you think this is. Road trip. Boom, ka-donk, ka-donk, ka-donk. Dad, what was that? I stammered as the palm of my hand slowly slid down my face to reveal what we hit. All I could see was the pitch black sky with a silver of bright white moon. The giant pine trees were still flying by as our long brown station wagon continued down the dark road. Ka-donk, ka-donk, ka-donk. Dad, what is that noise? I cried. Our car was wobbling back and forth, causing us to jerk left and right. I could feel the worry rise up my back and tingle in the back of my neck. What was that weird noise? Why won't Dad answer me? A few seconds later, which felt like an hour, and Dad finally answered me. Well, sweetie, I think we might have just blown a tire. I'm going to try and find a safe place off the side of the road here to check and see what's going on, Dad replied, sounding a little unsure of himself. So notice, they have dialogue in here. The dad is actually saying something. The loud noise and constant bumpiness continued to make me nervous. I watched from the back seat and out the front windshield as our headlights guided us down the gloomy black asphalt. The car coasted off to the side of the road and I could feel us come to a halt. Click! I undid my seatbelt and began to peer out each window in the car. I stared, eyes wide open, out into the night at complete blackness. You stay in the car, okay? There's not much to see out there, and it's dangerous on the side of the road like this, so it's best you just stay put. If it's the tire, this shouldn't take long, all right? Dad instructed. I just nodded my head because I was too afraid to go out there anyway. He grabbed a flashlight and went back to the driver's side door. Slam! My heart jumped as he shut the car door. I was sitting in the back seat trying to see my dad over the front seats. I could only make out the arch of his back through the headlights as he bent over the front tire. Then he was gone. I sat up higher and looked around. Dad? I whispered. My eyes were darting all around the car. Where'd he go? My heart began beating faster and faster. I could hear noises like bumping and rustling and could even feel the car shaking a bit. Creak! The driver's side door opened and I jumped a mile high. Whoa, sweetie, it's just me. Tires changed. Let's get back on the road. Yeah, I've been waiting on you, I said with a shaky voice and a grin. So as you can see, this personal narrative is about the time that this girl was so nervous and scared. It was dark outside and her dad was trying to change a flat tire. And they used a lot of noises and sounds to hook our readers. They also used some dialogue. So what you're going to do is think about how you're going to start your story. So you're not going to have the same sounds that this story had. If you're writing about the time that you, the first time you ever learned to swim in the ocean, your sounds might be whoosh, whoosh. That could be the waves crashing. Okay, so you're going to have some different sounds. So think about whatever you're going to be writing about. Think of some sounds that you could write. Also, think of some questions that you could write about your story. So you guys can also maybe come up with a question to use for your first paragraph. You can come up with a dialogue sentence or even some action sentences. So remember, the more that you do, the easier it is for you to write your story. And again, you will create a text box and you will type in here. And then you will submit.